In the spring of 1829, in rural New York, a 23-year-old Joseph Smith is dictating a manuscript. He is describing a family fleeing Jerusalem in 600 BC, disappearing into the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Arabian desert. The journey begins here in the ancient kingdom of Judah, before the travelers push south into an unmapped wilderness. As the family travels, the patriarch of the group, Lehi, follows a strict naming pattern. When they arrive at previously unmapped locations, he assigns the names himself, christening new campsites like the Valley of Lemuel and the River of Laman. Roughly 1,400 miles into their journey, a tragedy strikes the group. Ishmael, the father-in-law to the patriarch's sons, dies and is buried in the desert. This diagram highlights a specific subtle shift in the text at this exact moment. Instead of stating that Lehi named the burial site, the manuscript drops into the passive voice. It states that Ishmael was buried in the place which was called Nahom. This single grammatical shift implies that the name was already attached to the location. The family learned it from local inhabitants. By phrasing it this way, the 1829 manuscript plants a highly specific, testable geographic claim into the historical record. The immediate skeptical explanation is that Joseph Smith simply consulted an 18th century map. Carsten Niebuhr, a European explorer, had published a map of Arabia featuring a tribal area labeled Nem. The archival record rules out this theory. University acquisition logs show that English translations of Niebuhr's work did not reach nearby Dartmouth College until 1937, and they never appeared in the local libraries available to Smith. Furthermore, the map hypothesis contains a fatal geographic flaw. Niebuhr's map mistakenly placed the Nem region far to the south of its actual location. If the author of the manuscript had copied Niebuhr, the narrative would reflect that error. It does not. Leaving the missing maps behind, the text reveals an unusual alignment with the physical realities of the Arabian desert. The manuscript repeatedly emphasizes Lehi's sheikh tent as the absolute center of the family's existence, perfectly reflecting the official center of administration and authority in authentic Bedouin culture. The manuscript also details their specific travel logistics, pushing forward for a few days, then setting up camp for a prolonged period. This matches the verified rhythms of historical Arab caravans, which marched 25 to 30 miles a day before stopping for extended rest. The text exhibits a granular, working understanding of desert survival logic, details entirely invisible to a 19th century New York farmer. Returning to the burial at Nahom, the manuscript includes another highly specific cultural detail. It notes specifically that the daughters of Ishmael were the ones who mourned exceedingly over the grave. 20th century anthropological fieldwork confirms that in desert Arab culture, formal mourning is strictly a monopoly held by women. The location's name itself contains a linguistic puzzle. The ancient Semitic root of the word Nahom, spelled Nhm, literally translates to sigh, moan, or console. The place of mourning carries the name of mourning. Immediately after departing Nahom, the caravan's trajectory shifts. The text states they began to travel nearly eastward. Modern mapping reveals exactly why. At this latitude, continuing south leads directly into the empty quarter, a lethal, uncrossable expanse of shifting sands. They must bend east. This necessary 90-degree eastern bend was completely unrecorded in Western geographic literature until the British explorer Bertram Thomas successfully mapped the region in 1928. We have to leap forward to the late 20th century to find the physical anchor for this location. Between 1988 and 1997, the German Archaeological Institute conducted extensive excavations near Mareb, Yemen. From beneath the desert sands, the excavation team unearthed the massive, ruined structure of the ancient Baran temple. During the dig, archaeologists made a critical discovery. They pulled 3 ancient limestone votive altars from the site. When the inscriptions were translated, they revealed a formal donation made by a man named Beathar of the Nim tribe. The carvings are precisely dated to the 7th and 6th centuries BC. These altars provide hard, chronologically precise proof. They establish that a tribe bearing the name Nhm existed in the exact geographic location and at the exact historical moment that the 1829 text claims. Following that eastward trail to its logical conclusion brings travelers to the Arabian coast, a surprisingly lush zone the manuscript names Bountiful. The text requires the travelers to find iron ore here to construct a ship. In the year 2000, geological surveys discovered massive iron deposits sitting directly adjacent to a viable ancient harbor on the Dhofar coast. The evidence forms a tight chain of constraints: the passive grammar anomaly, the female-led mourning customs, the Semitic root wordplay, the precise eastward turn bypassing the empty quarter, the coastal iron ore, and 3 limestone altars carved in the 7th century BC. If Joseph Smith was merely guessing in 1829, how did a simple grammatical anomaly perfectly predict 160 years of archaeological discoveries?